Hello ladies. This is Paula and I'm going to try something with you today that I haven't done. This will be my first time to do it on camera. So if I flub it up, don't be shocked. I have started a new little golden book. I already have the little golden book put together, so I will show it to you. It's really bright and colorful. The problem the thing I can't decide about, it's not really a problem. The thing I can't decide about is, I'm going to turn this light off, it's glaring I think. It's hard to tell which light's glaring. Let me try a few of them. Nope, it's not that one. It's that one. Maybe I just need to turn it further back so it doesn't, yeah, there we go. All right, so I need you to help me decide, is the blue ribbon enough? You know, is it enough? I have this really cute trim that I've had forever, and I've never used it on anything because I'm afraid it'll ravel, but I really think it's cute. But I did, you know, put the, what is it called? The fraying glue or whatever it is on the ends of each of these. So let me show you what it would look like if I were to use it. Now, the reason I would put it over this is because I'm going to put the tassels this direction, and I want the tassels to, underneath them, to be covered. So, and then this is not going to be on the inside of the book. See, the inside of the book is already, I finish it all out because that's just who I am. I can't stand it. I know some people don't, some people do. But, so, it would be this direction. I got to find the front. And let me set it down right there. Move my trimmer. It'd be this direction. Now, you, from the camera, you won't be able to tell that it's got the grosgrain underneath it. But the thing is, the thing that I was concerned about was it might cover up this pattern that I think is so cute. You guys give me a comment below. I'm not going to put it on there till I hear what the majority thinks. This is just a good one for us to put our heads together about because I haven't had anyone to ask. In previous books, I just, you know, just took chances. So I'm going to move the book aside. That turned out like that. I'm going to put it away. And today, I just thought we could work on the book together. I need to cut my papers. I've measured, and I need my papers to be 7 3/4 high and 5 3/4 wide or less. So no more than 5 3/4 wide. Now, I'm going to sit down and see if I can get this to work. I know in the past, all I've done is, you know, embellishments or whatever. But I decided it's time to step it up a little bit and see what I can come up with. I found this really cute blue that matches the book really well. And I thought it could be an extra sheet. Now, I don't mind the double-sided sheets. I don't mind single-sided sheets. I just don't want to, I don't put really, I'm trying not to put really heavy pages in there because you can get more in. Plus, whenever you have white on one side, it gives you more journaling space. So, I'm going to measure this. This paper is 12 inches long. Okay, so we don't need to cut any off this side then. oh, well, wait a minute. That's not true. We will need to, but we're going to fold it before we do it. All right, and then it's, how tall is it? 10 inches tall. Well, now we've established we have to be 7 3/4 inch tall. So, I always have to stop and think on this part. It's crazy. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fold it in half. Now, I don't use a bone folder at this point, but before I bind the book, I do. So, you know, that helps. Okay, so now we've got a 6 wide, and we had already established that we didn't want it to be more than 5 3/4. So, you want, with your folded side on this side, let me move it up a little bit. With the folded side here, we're going to cut off 1/4 of an inch. Okay. And if we decide later we want to cut it a little bit shorter, we can. You know, anything's go. All right, and now we need to do that 7 3/4 tall. The reason I do it like this is because I have wasted more paper. You know, if I fold it, my brain can get more sense out of which direction the paper is. I know that sounds silly, but it's just one of those things. Okay, do I turn it this way? Do I turn it that way? You know, it's hard to tell. So I'm going to measure this with the book. Now see, this is the weird thing. The Little Golden Book is every bit as tall as the Little Golden Book, which I thought was kind of odd. I may have to trim it down on the top and bottom just a tiny bit, but we'll see. There's page 1. So I'm going to make a 2 signature book. It's going to have a 2-inch spine, but I'm going to make it, you know, pretty full of paper. So I think I'd rather do a 2-inch spine than 3 with less paper. I don't know. I've done both. I just think it will look better. Okay, so we got to cut off down here to 5 3/4. Now, I hope this doesn't bore you guys. If you guys get bored, I'm sorry. You can turn me off. But I love watching people do this sort of thing, and to see the book come together. Okay, so we've got both of those for our 2 signatures. Now, I always like to put vellum in my books, and so this one, I don't know if you could tell, has a little bit of a print. It's like a greenery with a little tiny tulip on it, I think. And it's pretty. So I'm going to fold it in half. You guys, I'll be putting up a video tonight of some traveler's notebooks that I just got finished. Okay, this needs to be 7 3/4 on the height. And it should be 5 3/4 for the width. So this is 5 1/2, and so we're good. Put that up there. Trying to look and see which side's the main side. It's really hard to tell on vellum. I haven't started printing on vellum yet. I'm sure down the road I'll do that. I just, you know, I like it. I like the printed vellum. I mean, Artie Mace did some beautiful vellum the other day, and I was like, oh my goodness, she's talented. Okay, there's that one. Now, this is the old school paper, and I try not to over dye it because it is a fragile paper, but I just like it in my books. And after I use up this, I may do may not put it in the oven at all, so I can see. So it's the right length or width. And now we got to see if it's the right height. It's gonna be just barely needs to be trimmed off. Just barely. Okay. And the next sheet. My next video, I plan on working on embellishments. So you can kind of get an idea of what I'm gonna do. Thank you guys for the ones of you that placed an order in my Etsy shop. That was so sweet of you. Okay, now let's do the tea stain. I'm gonna go ahead and fold it in like this. I love this polka dotted. I have a polka dotted pan that's in a circle shape that I do this with, and it makes it a whole lot more work, but it's fun. So got to take 1/4 of an inch off of that. So now that's 7 3/4. Now let's see how wide it is. It's perfect. So we don't have to do anything with that. So now this should go pretty fast because we only have to just cut the length down, which is nice. It speeds things up a little bit. I'm hoping to have this book finished by the end of the week, but I'm not sure. We'll just have to see. You know, life sometimes doesn't deal you what you're expecting. This one has some fun circles. This was done with coffee stain, and I think I like the coffee stain, but I think I'm more of a fan of the tea stain. And I'm telling you, when I open up that package of this paper, makes you want a cup of coffee. And I don't even drink coffee anymore. I'm more of a tea drinker now. I went through a phase where coffee just drove me crazy. I had to have a cup just from the smell of it, and then one day I just was sick of it, and I was like, that is so weird. I'm trying to put a variety of stained paper in here, so it's not all exactly the same. You'll see what I mean as we get it all together. For instance, this is really different. I'm sure some of you have this same pan, but it's like one of my favorites. But lately, I've been brushing my tea stain paper because, you know, it depends on what you decide to put it with as to what it will look like. Especially if you're using pastels, and I don't know, that's where it shouldn't make a difference anyway because of the junk journaling part of it. But, you know, I struggle with not wanting to do things perfect. But I'm getting better. That's that type A personality, you know, where, I mean, it drives my kids crazy. I'm a everything in order kind of person. And they grew up like no one better than touching anything a mama's. Okay, let me grab some of this other stuff. I tore this out. This is supposed to represent the woods, and because I couldn't get it out correctly, so I'm just gonna cut it as the length that I have to. But has a little girl right here, and I just thought, how sweet. She's in the woods, and you know, I need to read the poem over here though before I decide to put that in, and I will. Oh, it's the right height. Let me see if it'll be the right width. I think it's gonna be. Yes. Sometimes if I don't like, you know what, I don't think I need to send a particular poem or something on the other side, I will just put something over that and you can still use it. Now I searched and searched and searched to find the woods with a bear, but nothing I had. I even went to the vintage shop and they didn't have anything with bears. But we're going to pretend there's a bear in there. There's deer and rabbit and cardinals, blue jays, and then there's this little house, which I thought was really cute for the Three Little Bears. The Three Little Bears book was from 1956. Gail, that was our birthday year, is 1956. So that made it fun. Trying to decide which side to cut off of this. Oh goodness. Let me get my scissors. I'll just trim that off. Okay. And I always try to put some grid paper. Now, my grid paper has grid on one side and stripes on the other, which I really liked when I found it because it put more variety in. Now, this has not been tea stained. If I don't tea stain it, I will ink it really well. So that's kind of how some papers I've noticed when you try to ink them, or coffee stain them, or tea stain them, the ink on the paper will run, and it kind of looks green and dirty, and so I pretty much don't do that anymore because I don't like the way it looks. It just looks really dirty. This should go pretty fast. Although I've got quite a few papers over here now, even as it gets closer, there's a really good chance that I'll add more. Sometimes I will do that. Okay, I normally don't put notebook paper in, but I love the color with the three bears, so we're going to this time. And it does give you more journaling space. So let's see what. We got to cut it down just a little bit. All right. Sorry guys, concentrating. Let's see. Which side do we want to cut off? Do we want to keep that? Well, I don't think so. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. That one's kind of grungy looking. This is a classroom checklist sheet. I just liked it because I liked that it had multicolors and it was different and it could be journaled on. Let's see what height it is. Perfect. Okay. Well, I guess it would be. I cut part of the height off, didn't I? I wasn't thinking. Okay. Hope you guys are having a good day. It's like 76 here, which is nice. Let's see. Usually I have to put my music sheets in. From the side because they just don't fit. But I like to cut them down, take off titles and so forth because, you know, can't find just any music sheets. Okay. That will be one of our smaller sheets. This music sheet is from 1955. So, you know, that's pretty old. Well, it's 60 years. Nearly. Let's see. I'm 61 and I was born in 56, so yeah. It's a long time ago. I feel pretty vintage. Okay, there's those. And I've got some of Denise's ledger paper. And over at Tattered Dreams, I think everybody knows Denise pretty much. She has a lot of cute new things, I understand. I always like to put ledger paper in. When I've used this up, I'll probably be using full sheets. You know, it's not that easy to find anymore. People don't use ledger sheets like they used to. But I like them. That's how I keep my books. Not our family books, but my crafting books. And I put a couple of the different states or countries. This is the U.S. I'm trying to think how I want to do that. Maybe like that. I think it's going to be the right size, so I won't have to. Can you guys see what I'm doing? I'm sorry if I get out of camera here. Just slightly need to cut just a hair off. Well, maybe a 1/4 inch. I'm trying to, with this book, I'm trying to, you know, use some different types of papers, unusual papers, Okay, so I'm going to fold this first. And I'm hoping this will be big enough that I can kind of do a fold back on it. Those are the ones I really have to think about. So if I see, because it's 6 inches, I think we're going to take it back to let's go back to 4. I try to do a lot of this when I'm on the actual cutter, so that I love this polka dotted paper. I love it. And it was perfect for what we were doing. Okay, so I'm going to fold this next one. I've got 2 pieces of that. This is probably the heaviest paper in the book. Okay, so maybe we'll do different this time and fold it in 4 inches. Just make it a little different. And you know, you can take this, fold in, and you can make it into a tuck. I've done that before, but I kind of like having the variety of different paper. Okay, and I like the script paper, and it is also gonna be the right size too, but I'm wondering if I really want it to fold back. We just did that one that way, so let me think. Maybe we'll just cut it a little shy of, maybe we'll cut it a 1/2 inch smaller. I like different sizes in the book. Okay, make sure I got that straight. Let's see, about a 1/2 inch shorter. Thank you guys for subscribing, the newbies, all of you guys who just came over from Gail's channel. I know I thanked you guys yesterday on a video, but I just so appreciate it. Okay, so this is going to be the cardstock. Don't go crazy. This one is pretty cool. Can you see it? It has the same colors as the fabric. See, when you see it back there. So this is going to be the center of the signature, one of the signatures. So we're going to want to fold it different. So let me move my things out of the way here. Let's see. Which direction do we want it to be? This way? No, I think we want it this way. So we're going to fold it over. You always fold your signatures, the inside of your signatures, if you want to make them a special piece of paper or whatever. You fold them the opposite way. Okay, now I like all this color down here, so I want to make sure I don't cut any of this off. So we're going to go ahead and make the center signature the same height as our regular paper, which is 7 3/4. And we may even use this paper for something. We'll see. But we'll hang on to it. Now I'm going to flip it the other direction. Okay, now make sure I got all that right. Oh, I didn't cut the width. That's important. All right. I hate it when I have to go back and cut one thing because I didn't realize I hadn't. That's how it will look. I like that. Okay, now I like this. I think this would be a fun center. It does have the brown in it, which is different than what the book has. But you know what? The inside of the book is brown. The bears are brown. And I just like the heart, and I like the blue wood grain in the back. So this is going to be one of our signatures as well. So we got to fold it in on itself. Let's see. Now I got to pay attention to where I want to cut, probably off the top. I might have to cut some off the bottom too. Okay, let me see. Yeah, it's not going to completely look like a heart when we're done, but the top will. And we have these hearts right here. So now I have to cut to the height. And if I don't like it, we may pick a different one. I still like it. That still works. Now I got to cut some of the other side here. And that won't take any of the heart off. So that'll be good. Well, I lied. It did a little bit. Okay. So we got our centers of our signatures, and now we're going to do, I like to do pocket pages, and the thing is this is one of the papers too. Isn't it cool? All the papers in this are just really neat. So I'm going to I've got some wallpaper that I'm going to put in the book. Let me show you these different papers. Let me move the wallpaper. It's going crazy. It's old vintage wallpaper. This has a mix of blues and grays and the colors, you know, that we're doing here. And here is a blue brick. Let me see if there's any more. And the other signature is going to be the same, except it does have this page. This page is going to be a pocket for sure. So let's just do it first. Because I like all of this going on right here. The thing is it's going to make the top white. But that's all right. Your embellishments will stand out nicely. Okay, so we're going to line this up on the cutting line. And it's 7 3/4 is where it needs to be. So you don't want to fold it higher or lower. I think it would look better if you don't. There you're going to have your pocket. This paper still has edging on it. I guess I didn't notice that till now. So I'll cut that off. Okay, now we can do it this way, which I like. Let's do that. I stitch down the sides of the paper, and I haven't had any trouble with it puckering or anything like that, because I like the pockets to be stitched. Now, every now and then I have to glue one, but pretty much. But see, you do have a little bit of an overhang there, and whenever I get ready to sew it, I'll trim that off. So this is our pocket for one of the signatures, and I think that looks pretty cool. Now, I also put a second pocket onto here. And usually I do it with wallpaper. So we'll just have to see which one looks the best when it gets down to the time. Probably this one. It's more the dark color here. Okay, there's one of our pocket pages. Now, trying to decide here. I think we're going to do this one as our center on, or our pocket on the next one. So make sure you guys are in camera. I'm sorry if I forget every now and then to look up. Okay, so we're gonna fold this up to the 7 until the bottom is at 7 3/4. You just kind of crease it with your finger here and then just kind of scoot it up onto the cutting board. Keep your fingers down. There. Kind of bent it a little bit, but that's all right. Okay, and I'm also going to have it turning the same direction where the white is at the top of the pocket. Now, you have to measure and make sure we're still at the 5 3/4. We just barely have to trim any off. And see, I think on this one, we could even get away with that because it has this, let's flip it open and see. It has blue, but it also has this orangey color. We'll see. Okay. Something else to think about. Okay, let's do the brick. Now, I'm going to fold the brick in half, and I'm going to try to decide if we want to, I don't think it's going to be really wide enough to do any kind of, anything fancy with it. So, we're going to bring it down to 7 3/4. Whoops. And we're going to hang on to this. Put it with our paper, because we don't waste anything that matches, because there's always something you can do, even if it's an embellishment. Okay, trim this here, and I really like this. I think this is going to be the first page, we'll see, of one of the signatures. Let's do the other one while we're doing bricks. Okay. All right. So we're going to do the 7 3/4. Hang on to this. See how much time we've got. We're at 37 minutes. Okay, we're doing pretty good. Okay. Okay, we've got that one done. Now we got to decide which direction. This has a little bit of letters in here. Maybe we'll do it this way. I think that's the way it was meant to go. Since the tab is still up here on the top, I really like the texture of this paper. It's not too heavy, but it you know, it's going to be great to write on. There's that. Let's see if we need to take any of the, just a little. Okay. So, let me get this down. I just realized that one needs to be trimmed. It's got that little tab right there. I want to cut that off. I don't want that in the book. Don't want to get down the road and forget to do that. This one has one too. All right. Like 2 more sheets to do. So we have our 2 center sheets, I think. And so this time we're going to make the heart not a center sheet. We'll fold it the opposite way. It's still going to be cut off partially, but we'll do the best we can. We'll cut up here first. At least I didn't cut off too much at the top. Okay, and we'll put it in the book like that. And we've got one more of these page. All these scraps are in my way. 7 3/4. 5 3/4. And hang on to this one. I'm going to trim it. Okay. We're going to have a couple bags in our I'm going to actually, I don't know if I like that on the end. I think I'm going to trim that off. A couple different bags. And then I'll cut this end off too while I'm at it. If I can get it nice and straight. I don't know how straight bags are really, but we'll do the best we can. Okay. Then we'll hole punch after we fold it. Let's see, let's fold it this way. We will hole punch. So we will have it in the book like this. So we'll hole punch on this side. I just take a circle punch just so that it's noticeable. See if it's going to cooperate. You know, paper, some bags, sometimes I'll have to hand cut that out. But anyway, that's that one. And let's cut the end of this one off too, because it just looks kind of shabby. You know, when you store stuff, sometimes little corners get bent and stuff like that. And I don't like it when it's all bent up. And I will hole punch these at some point, some way. And let's see, how do we want this one folded? Let's do it like this. I always reinforce the bottom part of the bag also. So if this part gets loose on the edges like that, I go ahead and put a little bit of glue under there, you know, so that it will look nicer. Okay, now let's go ahead and cut our wallpaper real fast. Let me get our sheets down here. It's a lot of stuff to cut. I want to find our pockets and decide which one is going to have which wallpaper. I know it's in here. I didn't really keep this stuff in order. Okay. I do think this is going to look better here, but I'm going to use like up in here. So how big do I want these? It's 5 3/4 wide, so let's do 5 1/2. So let's just cut 5 1/2. Maybe we'll do 1/4 on each side so it looks a little bit balanced. I'm just going to trim a little bit off of that. It's not actually going to end up being 5 1/2. It's going to be, I'm thinking, it's going to be 5 1/4, which really is perfect. Now, we have to decide how far down and how big of a pocket. I kind of like this showing. So let's measure that and see how big it is. Excuse me. Right there would be 3 inches. So we could move it up and do it at 3 inches. So let's cut these at 5 1/4 by 3 inches. That's this is the 5 1/4. So we're going to do the 3 inches now. Now, neither one of these will match on each side, but that's okay because I might put the blue that has just a tiny bit of orange on that side and this one on the other side. I just like the fact that we're having the vintage, look, this paper looks crooked, and it probably is. Who knows? I might have to, there you go. We are going to get a little bit of the eagle's head, but that's all right. See, I think that looks fun. Now, I usually round the corners down here. So I think we'll do that real quick. I just think it gives it kind of a clean look. Okay, I'm just going to stick that right in there. And whenever I start doing the machine stitching, I'll know that it's ready. Okay, let's see how wide this thing is. Well, it's 5 1/4 too, so we know to do 3 inches. Okay, and we'll punch the corners. I've had 4 or 5 hand surgeries, so I don't have the strength I once had. So I have to really squeeze on these. Sometimes I have to do it twice. Now, excuse me, I will be stitching those. And we might have a stitching day. I can't promise. I don't know if I can get my camera over there. I'll have to just talk to my tech guy. Okay, so that's the start of everything. I am going to hinge some of the paper, one in each signature. I'll hinge some of the coffee stain paper and so that it can flip out. We'll put a little bit of lace on this one, and I like to put fabric tabs and hang charms from them. And this one's not going to have a tassel or buttons because I feel like the spine says it all, you know. And it is going to need some corner things on here, and I'll probably put a hitch post on it. Yeah, it needs them in the back too. So, and there's a little tiny piece of Scotch tape right there. And I thought about taking it off, and then it told me it was going to tear if I did. So I didn't. But anyway, so let me know what you think about the trim. Yes or no. Just say yes or no on trim. And my biggest worry, see how it's kind of sticking out right there? Even though I put fray on there, it still wants to fray. I got to think about what I could do to keep it from doing that. I mean, I really soaked it. All right, ladies, I'm going to get off of here so you can go watch someone else's video. And I'll see you back in my next video to work on the embellishments. Thank you. See you next time. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Bye.